Hey, what's up you guys? You're watching Team APS, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing my 5 favorite cards from Shining Victories. But first I'd like to talk about a mobile app called Yu-Gi-Oh Amino. It's just a really cool social network for Yu-Gi-Oh fans, and I think it's interesting because it's unlike, say a Facebook group or something like that. Everything on here is dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a lot of cool stuff you can do. There's a news feed where you can find stuff that people post, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's news. It might just be an interesting article or a new perspective. And also you can join chat rooms, which is something that's really nice. I'm actually in a couple of different chat rooms: the Slifer Red Dorm, Duel Academy, and you can also post polls and ask people for their opinions on things. It's honestly just a really great service, and one that I think that you guys would all be pretty interested in checking out. So there's going to be a link to it in the description of this video if you want to give it a look. Anyways, let's get started. So card number 1 is Spirit of the Fall Wind. When it's normal summoned, you get to add a flip effect monster from your deck to your hand. Actually, those are called flip monsters now. I did not know that. But anyway, so this is really cool. It's a Stratos for flip effect monsters, and that's actually something that I guess we haven't really seen before. I mean, there have always been flip effect monsters in an archetype that are searchable, but there's never just been a generic, splashable way to search your flip effect monsters. So this gives them a little bit of consistency, and I guess you could say speed, even though, like, I get it, flip effect monsters are kind of inherently slow. But this is cool because it means that you can search any flip effect monster you want. It's a great way to actually search something like, Needleworm, but also some of the flip effect monsters, at least from like my time playing Yu-Gi-Oh, that come to mind are just things like Gravekeeper Spy, things like, Morphinger's Band, Raikou, cards like that. And there are also newer cards. What is it? The Prediction Princesses are also flip effect monsters, so this is one more way to search all of those. I think it's just really cool that we finally have something that's generic and searches like flip effects, especially when you look at new things like pendulum summoning, where, we just have all these ways to search pendulums and stuff like that. And it's a crazy new mechanic, but then things like flip effects get kind of left in the dust. So yeah, I think Spirit of the Fall Wind is a really cool card, worth getting a couple of copies of just to play around with. Not going to be meta defining, but that's not really what this list is about. Okay, next card is Pre-Preparation of Rites, so let's read this. Add a ritual spell card from your deck to your hand, and then add one ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand whose name is listed on that ritual spell. You can only add one per turn. So this is a really cool card because it's a plus, a huge plus. You get to search the spell, you get to search the monster. This sort of in itself breaks the problem that ritual monsters have always had. It's just actually finding the ritual monster, finding the ritual spell, having them in your hand at the same time. This card just instantly solves it for you. But the problem here is that it only works with ritual spells and monsters that kind of declare a specific name. So you can't use it to search, your Gishki ritual spells, and you can't use it to search your Necroz ritual spells and monsters and things like that. So it's balanced in that way, because otherwise grabbing those straight from the deck could be pretty crazy. But no, you have to actually search something that has the name listed on the card. Fun fact, if you want to actually watch me misuse this card, check out our Blackluster Soldier versus Buster Blader theme duel video where I thought I could search Super Soldier. Not important. Anyway, so, yeah, the things that come to mind when I think of this card mainly are some older things. Black Illusion Ritual with Relinquished is like an immediate thought. But also, let's see, End of the World and Demise, that's a cool thing. But if you're thinking of maybe newer stuff, Herald of Perfection, Burning Abyss could also use this, and I guess Prediction Princesses as well. So these are actually some cool cards you can search. I think that this is just great because it's such a fast way to search stuff, and rituals have really needed that in order to have a chance at competing, so I give it a thumbs up. Next card, Dwarf Star Dragon of, oh god, I can't read it. Dwarf Star Dragon Planeter. So, cool card. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was normal summoned this turn, you can add a level 7 light or dark monster from your deck to your hand. Pretty nifty on paper, obviously not without its flaws. It's a little bit slow. You have to normal summon this thing, and then you don't get the effect until the end phase, so that's a bit problematic. But it's cool because the things that come to mind, Red Eyes, all the Red Eyes stuff could be searched with this. What level 7 light dragons are there? I actually don't remember, but I do know the Dark Arm Dragon can be searched with this thing, and that's really, really awesome. Thank God the Dragon Rulers aren't light or dark, because then that could be crazy if they ever were to come back. This card screams to me like it kind of had potential maybe like a few years back. I mean, obviously right now it's just kind of a little bit too slow. The concept's really cool though, because it's something that we have never really seen in a long time. Like Gen X Unending was the last thing, and so the ability to just search these dragons straight from the deck. Actually, when I think about it, a lot of the cards in this set, all these things I've mentioned so far, are really involved like quickly searching stuff from the deck that hasn't really been searchable before. So while I don't think this will be making any, you know, waves in the meta, I think it's going to be something that's fun to play around with, and people who have older decks, older light and dark dragon kind of based decks, might actually find a lot of fun with this card. So it's something to experiment with. I just thought it was really interesting. A bit slow, but interesting. Next card's Unwavering Bond. So this is that new counter trap when your opponent activates a pendulum monster's effect or an effect of a card in the pendulum zone, negate the activation. And if you do, banish the card. So that's actually really sweet. Being a counter trap's always great. Ariana Grande or whatever that card, it can search it. That's really neat. But also a way to stop pendulums is always a good thing, I guess. You know, people complain about them so gosh darn much. It's really cool that it can just kind of stop pendulum monsters' effects when they're in the field, but also stop their effects when they're in the pendulum zone. So as monsters or as spells, that's really great. It's probably going to be a potential side deck card. I mean, I do think that things like, say, Anti-Spell Fragrance might be a more direct way to just deal with pendulums as a whole, but I mean, I'm not going to discount the card yet. It is searchable, like I said, so that makes a huge difference, and anything anti-pendulum is bound to be popular, at least for some amount of time, so I'm definitely going to give it, you know, like a pass. It's interesting, I like it, and that's why I made the list. And the last one is Drowning Mirror Force. So I think this is actually the final of the Mirror Forces that we're going to get, unless they kind of try to do like some dark and light themed ones later. I'm not sure about that, but Drowning Mirror Force, when your opponent attacks you directly, you get to send all the attack position monsters on their side of the field back into the deck. That's huge, but you have to be getting attacked directly, and I'm not entirely sure that that's worth the risk. It's just, the card's, it's interesting to me, that's why it's on the list, but I don't necessarily think it's as good as the other Mirror Forces, because having to be attacked directly, like, don't get me wrong, if you resolve this when your opponent has 3-4 big monsters in the field, I mean, that's huge, that's shuffling them all back in the deck. But if you have this card set, but you have no monsters in the field, you were getting attacked directly, you may not have been in a great position in that game anyway, and you know, you might still lose. It's risky to be using this. Now, it's cool because it doesn't target or destroy or anything, so I mean, like, you are just getting rid of Dark Destroyers and all these crazy boss monster threats easily, but you're putting yourself really, really, really close to the tipping point by using it. But the concept is neat, and all of the Mirror Force concepts are neat, the elemental ones, so. Anyways, that concludes my video. I hope you guys liked it. What are your favorite cards from Shining Victories? Let me know in the comments below. And also, I'm giving away a box of it provided by TCG Player this month. If you want to enter the giveaway, the link to it is in the description below, so check it out. And also, you can buy APS Playmat. You can follow me on social media, all sorts of great fun things. Anyway, new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as per usual. Sub for more Yu-Gi-Oh! And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.